Well, good morning, everybody. This is John Jennings from Charlotte, North Carolina. Welcome to the One Team, One Dream Focus Call. So excited about this call this morning. We're due for this call. It's one of the greatest differences between success and failure in this business. And I have brought on board a extra special guest trainer, Becky Kohler out of Matthews, North Carolina, which is just outside of Charlotte. She's a 2-star ambassador. She's got a lot of experience in this industry. She's well-trained herself. She's a phenomenal speaker, a phenomenal trainer, and a wonderful leader for Visalus. So it's a real blessing to have her on the call with us this morning. So, Becky, this is a hot button for you and I both, and it's 3-way phone calls. So won't you kick us off here this morning and talk to us about 3-ways?
Absolutely, John. Good morning, and good morning, everybody. I'm so excited and so blessed to have been asked to be on this Visalus One Team, One Dream call, and I'm excited that all of you have taken time out of your busy schedule on a Saturday morning to further your knowledge and your education and really just put some personal investment into yourself for your personal growth and development. So thank you, John, for that. Guys, what I wanted to talk about this morning, and I had mentioned to John last night when we were talking, is I threw a word in there called chameleonization, which I kind of made up myself. And then when I was talking to my ambassador, who's over in London right now early this morning, her and I were talking about the importance of 3-way phone calls and edification and the proper reason why we do that. So that's really what I wanted to share with you guys today is, first, when I talk about chameleonization, that is kind of just the chameleon term. You know, when you are in a situation and you're talking with somebody, the more relatable you can be to that person, and I'm not saying be just like them, you know, chameleonize yourself so that you are just like them, but the more that you can relate to that person and the more that you can understand and listen to what that person's going through or maybe what they've been through, the more it's going to be able to help you when you have a conversation with them. And I think so many times in our business, especially what I'm finding in Visalus, is that we're so different, you guys. This is a social business. It's a social company. It's a social challenge. We're not selling to people. We're not recruiting people. We are not recruiters in the military where we sign somebody up and then we say, good luck, go at it, and you never talk to somebody again. We are building relationships with people. So the most important thing in building relationships with people is, 1, listening, and 2, learning a little bit about somebody. And so when I talk about the word that I created, chameleonizing, you know, some people have heard the DISC, personality-driven statements before. You know, you've got a dominant, influential, security-driven, conscientious type person. But a lot of people don't know much about personalities, so they just kind of go into starting to throw up all over somebody when they want to share information about the challenge, or they want to share about the kits, or they're so excited about the business opportunity. And what we've realized in Visalus, which Nick Sarnicola, our phenomenal co-founder and leader in this company, has really brought into our attention as ambassadors and promoters, is that we at some point got off message. And we were sharing too much information with people about the business opportunity and maybe just talking too much and not listening enough. And so now what's really important is we're all starting to get focused on our own challenge, on our own goals, on really talking with other people and listening to find out exactly where it is that they are in their life, what is it that they want to change, what is it they would like to challenge themselves, and try to meet them where they're at. And when I talk about the quote-unquote chameleonizing term, really what I'm talking about in simplistic terms, you guys, is that if you're sitting and having a conversation with somebody and they start sharing something with you, you're becoming relatable to them. I understand how you feel. I felt that way before. I know what you mean. And what I have found is, and then you can actually relate to either their story or use a story that you've learned from somebody in Visalus and relate to their story. And where this leads into the importance of really what we're going to be talking about is 3-way phone calls, is when you're talking with somebody that you have a very close relationship with, or let's say it's a brand new person you just met on the soccer field this morning, sometimes it's uncomfortable. And sometimes you're really not quite sure what to say because you want so desperately to build a relationship and have the business, but you don't want to say the wrong thing and put your foot in your mouth. And so this is where a 3-way phone call can be so beneficial to you in your business, is that you can build the relatability and create the conversation and familiarize yourself with them, while you go ahead and maximize the ability to utilize a conversation with somebody who is more versed, more experienced, and fallen down and gotten back up and made more mistakes than you. Now, for all of you that are on the line, you may be a presidential, you might be an ambassador, you might be a national, you might be a regional director, you might be a rising star, or my goodness, you might have signed yesterday and you're a brand new promoter. But it doesn't really matter, because in our business, the purpose of the edification and using a three-way phone call is to take it away from yourself and to pass it on to somebody else who can help you with the conversation and relate and bridge the gap when you're talking with somebody. I'll use a great example, John, and for everybody that's on the line. I've been an entrepreneur for over 15 years, and I've been in a few different companies. Many ventures that I've tried ever since, I was old enough to sign my name on the dotted line with an application. So I've been able to watch and learn from a lot of very successful network marketers and a lot of very successful entrepreneurs. And it took me a long time to adapt my own style. But when I got into Visalus, I realized, you guys, that we have one system. You don't put your special sauce on it. You don't have to have your own quote-unquote style, and then the next person who seems like they're doing better than you has more style than you and more of a special sauce than you. And what you're really doing is you're following a simple system of sharing, inviting, and then introducing somebody to an expert. In our business, you have an upline. You have an upline regional director, national, presidential, ambassador, and 1-star, 2-star, 5-star, and so forth. But what's great about our business is that when you're doing edification and you're doing three-way phone calls, it doesn't matter if that person is the top of the top position in the company. What matters is that you're taking it away from yourself and giving it to somebody else who has more experience than you. They don't have the personal relationship with the person that you're putting on the phone, and they're able to talk objectively and also giving facts, enthusiasm, and passion without selling and recruiting. And what I'd like to do, John, if you don't mind, and I can bring you on the phone, is maybe have you share what you feel the importance of the three-way phone call is, and maybe we can do some role-playing and do some questioning, answering, and interviewing.
Yeah, and I tell you, and I actually did a call, and for those of you who are taking notes, if you go to VisalusOneTeamOneDream.com, again, VisalusOneTeamOneDream.com, and that's the number one rather than one spelled out. On the recordings page, I did a call on August 18th of 2012 on three-way phone calls. And it covers the what, why, who, when, where, how to do three-way phone calls. But you know what? The beauty of this call is that this is a cross-line perspective. So here's someone else covering the same topic, but it's a whole different perspective, which hopefully will open it up for you listening to this call today. But you brought up a great point about edification, and and one thing about doing a three-way phone call to me is that if it's my family, friend, loved one, and neighbor, what I don't want to do is to jeopardize my relationship with that person. So what I do is I put them on the phone with Becky. Now, is this right for everybody to do? Absolutely not. It's not right for everybody. And so rather than taking a risk of damaging a relationship, I put them on the phone with Becky. And Becky talks to my family, friend, loved one, and neighbor, and when the call's over, I say, hey, what did you like best about what Becky just said? And wow, I hated that. I couldn't stand that. Ooh. Well, guess what? Now Becky is the bad guy, and I'm still the good guy. I didn't damage my relationship. You see what I'm saying? Now, that's the negative side of it, but the positive side of it is this. I want to three-way call my prospects and promoters, actually, into successful people. And the truth is, I've never had a negative comment. But I know that when you're new, that's what you're fearful of, okay? But when you put your people on the phone with a professional like Becky, what happens is your people will be enthusiastic about what they hear, and they're going to be excited about what they hear, and they're going to want more information. They're going to move forward. And so that's the best thing for me. And Becky, as I said earlier today, for me and my organization, if I want to find out where people are making money. If I look to the hot spots where people are really blowing and going and they're hitting ranks, that's where the most amount of three-way phone calls are taking place. If there are dead spots in my organization where there's just no activity going on, no one's making any real money, that's where there's no three-way phone calls happening. So for me, that's one of the biggest indicators of success is how many three-way phone calls you're making. Becky, do you see the same thing in your organization?
Oh, absolutely, John. And just to kind of add to that point, and I'm sure that a lot of you are listening on the call, and either you're, A, understanding exactly what you're saying and nodding your head saying, amen, same with me, or B, you're like, no, I don't understand, that's not going on with me, is that a lot of times we feel we can do it all ourselves. You know, I'm a woman, right? So I'm a superwoman, but I'm not superwoman. I can't do it all myself. And so I can sit there and talk to a prospect, and I can throw up all over them and share all this information. I can give them the complete education pack, and I can take them to stacks.my.com. I can show them the shakes, and then all of a sudden they just keep wanting more information, and then I may be getting frustrated, thinking, why in the world am I spinning my wheels? And I'm giving them everything that they're looking for, and I just cannot close the deal. Now, yes, we share a challenge, you guys. We're not selling product and we're not recruiting them, but you want some type of closure, or you at least want some type of next step, or where do we go from here? But the great thing about the purpose of three-way phone call, and this isn't just my thing, this isn't John's thing, this is our company thing. When you guys look at your Getting Started training and you watch the gst.guy.com, you're going to see that one of the tools is a three-way phone call with your upline. You know, you have a chance to take somebody to the byline. You have a chance to take somebody to the video. You have a chance to put somebody on a three-way phone call with your upline. And so this is new for a lot of people, especially if you've come from another direct selling company or you've never even been in direct selling before. It's like, well, what in the world is what is a three-way, and why would I do this? And it's going to be really uncomfortable when I'm sharing the challenge with somebody to just pick up the phone and call Becky. So just to kind of ease you into this, the purpose of the three-way phone call, like John and I were just saying, is to get yourself out of the situation and put somebody else into the situation that has more experience, that can talk with them with passion and enthusiasm, that can answer and be educated on the questions that prospect may be asking them. But also in the same token, it's very, very important that you edify the person that you're putting your prospect on the line with. So, John, can I give a few examples?
Yeah, actually, I was about to ask you, because the thing is, you've just convinced me that I need to be making three-way phone calls, but I don't know how to do it. So how do I make a three-way phone call?
Okay, great. So I'm going to give a couple of different examples. I, for example, have a team member, let's say, and she has somebody who is on the challenge. She's maybe frustrated with her challenge just a little bit and thinking that she wants to promote this, but really not sure because she's having some type of frustrations, and my promoter is not exactly sure what to say to her. So I would say to the promoter in this particular situation, you know what, Susie, why don't you get Kathy on the phone? Say to her, Kathy, I know you're so excited about being on the challenge, and I hate that you're experiencing some frustrations, but you really have a desire to want to promote this, and you just kind of want to get some success before you put it underneath your belt. Let me do this. I don't know all the answers, and I'm so excited and I want to help you. I want to get Becky on the phone with you. She's actually my ambassador. She's been very successful working with other people on the challenge and coaching them through their program. And I'm sure that if you have any questions that you want to ask her, she'll be able to answer them. And what I'll do is I'll be on the phone with you so that she can answer your questions and she can tell a little bit about her story and you can tell your story. And I would love to be able to learn from everything that she's saying.
Becky, but here's the problem I have with that. But you're so busy, and I just don't want to bug you. I'd love to put my people on the phone with you, Becky, but you're an ambassador, and I don't want to bug you. You're too busy for me to do this with.
Yeah, you know what? I am too busy, John. You're right. And you know what? I've reached the ambassador position, so I have arrived. And there is no room for growth for me, and I have no more time in my schedule. You guys, listen to me. We want you to blow up our phone. We want you to text us. We want you to call us. We want you to do three-way phone calls with us all day long. And I'll be honest, and I'm sure John will probably agree with me on this, I am probably jumping in the trenches and running with you more and the people on your team more if I hear from you more. If you're calling me and you're texting me and you're Facebooking me because you've got somebody that you want to introduce me to, I will be running and working with you all day long. But if you're trying to do it by yourself, gosh, you guys, that is frustrating. We're in business for ourselves, but not by ourselves. This is one team, one dream. There is no I in team. We do this together. And so the purpose and the edification of the three-way phone call is so you can reach out. So in this particular situation, I would say, hey, listen, you just told me a little bit about Kathy. Tell Kathy a little bit about me. Let's just get her on the phone, and then the conversation is going to be you as the promoter, mute yourself out. That's important. You guys, when you edify the person who's going to be on the line, you've got to sing their praises. I'm not saying they're God and they walk on water, but I'm saying you've got to sing their praises as to who they are and it's a little bit about their accomplishments and their achievements or their position or their ranking, something, so that the stranger who's on the other line wants to listen and feels like this is an important person who took time out to answer my questions. The last thing you want to do is say, hey, John, I've got Becky on the line. Becky, I've got John. Go ahead. And then all of a sudden the ambassador or the presidential or national director upline is sitting there thinking, okay, where do we go from here? Well, John, tell me about yourself. And John says, well, what do you want to know? And then it becomes a dead conversation. So, guys, the purpose, again, of the three-way phone call is to bridge the gap, to be able to bring an expert in, to be able to help them answer questions for your potential prospects or your customers who, you know, maybe are just on the edge or what have you. But you also want to make sure that you're following the Getting Started training. You are doing the GST over and over and over again, and that means exposing them to 1 to 2 tools before you get them on. I can't tell you how many times, and this is just because people don't know, and you don't know what you don't know, right, is that I will have somebody who will put me on the phone with somebody, or I did this in the beginning, so I'm just as guilty, and I didn't properly let that person look at a tool. And then what I'm trying to do is maybe get that person on a three-way phone call because I heard three-way phone calls are the right thing to do. But then when the ambassador or whoever the upline person is that gets on the phone, they're talking to a prospect who's never seen anything with the challenge. They don't even know what the challenge is. They have every question in the world that the 20-minute overview would answer for them if they had a chance to go watch it. So the process also in the three-way phone call, you guys, is expose people to 1 to 2 tools. Just like you're going to send somebody to a challenge party, you're going to make sure that they've listened to the 5-minute byline, or they've gone to your 5-minute website and watched the video, or both, or they've looked at a magazine, or they've tried a sample, or they've gotten on a three-way. You want to make sure that they've been exposed to a tool before they go to a challenge party. Well, when we do a three-way phone call, you also want to make sure that they are exposed to a tool before you do a three-way phone call, because then otherwise you have a stranger on the line with another stranger on the line who one of those strangers thinks the other one's going to try to sell or recruit them or convince them into something they don't want to do. And then the person who has experience is thinking, okay, this person's not even properly prepared or even want to be on the phone with me, so am I wasting my time, yours, and theirs?
Becky, you're hitting this right out of the ballpark. I mean, we're singing off the same sheet of music for sure. But let me ask you this question. I've got a prospect, okay, and I have walked them through tool number 1. They've seen the video. Maybe they've even been to a challenge party. But at this point, I want to get them on the phone with you to help seal the deal. So what do I say? So I've been through the tool. What'd you like best? All of the weight loss. Are you open to more information? Yes. And I want to put them on a three-way phone call with you. What do I say?
Okay, so what I would recommend for the promoter, which has always worked well for me, is that when you've taken somebody through a tool and you say to them, what did you like best about what you just saw? And they tell you what they liked best. And then you respond, would you like more information? And they say yes. And you either take them to the challenge party or you take them to the overview.buy.com. You then are asking again, what did you like best about what you saw? Do you feel like you're a 1, 2, or a 3? Are you interested in joining the challenge and being on it and sharing with others, or do you think you're interested in promoting this? Well, no, I think I might be interested in promoting, or I think I'm interested in joining the challenge, but I've got some questions. When somebody starts to ask questions, or they start to ask you something that you are just not sure of the answer, and you feel uncomfortable, I should say, the best thing for you to say is, you know what, John, I'm really, really excited that you like XYZ about the challenge. That's one of my favorite things that I like about it, too. It sounds like you have some questions. Here's what I want to do. I want to get you on the phone with my ambassador, Becky, or I want to get you on the phone with my ambassador, John. He is an amazing leader in the company. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's worked with people on the challenge for the past couple of years, and I know that he'll be able to answer any questions that you might have. And you know what? I'm so excited about the challenge. I'm learning, too. This will be a great opportunity for me to learn from whatever you're sharing with him and any questions you might be able to ask him. And then let's see how we might be able to help you move forward and answer any questions that you might have.
I love it. And, and there's also situations where I think that you can also, as a tool, is you can just go straight into the call. Well, do you have a few more minutes right now? Great. Hang on. And then I'll three-way you in, and once you're already on the phone, I would say, Becky, this is Jane.
Yep. And
I will explain Jane's situation. Then I will explain who you are and what you are and your success, and I will edify you. Then I will allow you to make to do the call. But the important thing is, and you brought this up earlier, and I think this is critical, and everybody needs to understand what Becky said earlier, and that is once I three-way Becky in, and my goal is to make the introductions, the proper introductions of the prospect and the person I'm doing the three-way with. But then I shut up. I do not say another word until Becky calls on me. When Becky's done talking, she will let me know. But under no circumstances will I ever interrupt the person that I'm three-waying in. Okay? And
I'm laughing.
People who will, oh, yeah. People will interrupt and they'll add to and they'll change and they'll question, and it's like, would you shut up? As much as you edified me, you're basically telling your prospect, I don't know anything. You're telling your prospect that you know more than I do.
And I'm chuckling inside and out loud because you're so right about that, John. And the thing is, you guys, and I'll be honest, we're no perfect human being. We're no expert, right? I mean, we're all human beings. We all make mistakes. We're all learning. We're all growing. And you don't know what you don't know. But when you're when you're setting it up for a three-way phone call, and it's a really important thing because you're hoping that we are going to go ahead and close this person and or take them to the next level, right, is you want to make sure that you give us as much information as you can about them, if at all possible, before we talk with them, or, like John said, when that person's on the line. Hey, John, I want you to meet my friend Susie. Oh, my gosh, we're at the challenge party right now. She's so flippin' excited. Her and her husband want to lose 20 pounds. They're really in a financial situation right now. They'd like to earn some money. They just have a few questions for you, and then the introduction for your ambassador. But if you are interrupting, and you may not mean to, you might just be like, oh, my gosh, I got to tell her this, or I got to tell him this. If you keep giving any type of points in the middle of the conversation while the ambassador is trying to talk, and believe me, I've done it. I've put my foot in the mouth, and I've had my ambassador send me a text, hello? Who's running the call here? Then it's like, okay, I don't know that you really need me on the call right now, because if you're just going to keep talking to this person like you've continued to keep talking to this person, maybe you don't want my assistance and my help. But here's what I'll tell you guys. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and I'm constantly reminded of that, is that when you're putting a prospect on a three-way phone call with somebody who you respect, and you're looking for help and guidance to help you build and grow yourself personally, but also build and grow your business and your prospects, you want to do the best that you can to share with the ambassador or presidential, national, whoever's doing the three-way phone call for you, edify the person on the line just like you're edifying the ambassador, or whoever it is that's doing the call for you. Because you know what? Susie Q on the line, who's your prospect, is going to feel so good when you say something good about her to me. And when you praise her to me. And she might be thinking, wow, that was really nice of you to say that. You're my best friend. I've known you for 20 years. And then, again, mute yourself out and don't say a word until the person who's doing the three-way phone call says, well, back to you, or why don't you just go ahead and give John a call later, and let's see if we can go ahead and wrap this up and get you started.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to make very, very clear, we keep saying ambassadors, but you know what? I do three-way phone calls with my regionals, my nationals, where they are the expert for me. So it does not matter. I just want to clarify that. I know we said it, but I want to clarify, if I three-way in one of my regionals to do a three-way call to my prospect, I treat them with the same respect that I hope they would treat me with. And that is, once I make the introductions, I shut up. Very, very important to edify them. Now, with that, we're running short on time here, Becky, but there's a couple of different types of calls that we haven't brought up yet that I really want to make mention of, and that is, number one, a welcome call. When you bring in someone brand new to the business, you've got to do welcome calls, because guess what? It ain't about you and it ain't about me. It's about the brand new person. And we need to get them connected to people they're going to connect with. And it may or may not be me, and that's okay. And the other thing, too, is when we're doing the GST, and at the top right-hand corner, it says support team. Now, when I put the 3 or 4 names of their support team on there, I don't just put their names and telephone numbers. I actually three-way them into their support team so that they feel comfortable calling them in the future. Now, Becky, those 2 types of calls, do you do those type, and do you see success with that?
Absolutely, and I'm so glad that you mentioned that. And I know we are limited on time, and I'll just throw this out there to you guys. Remember the day when you signed up as a promoter, the day that you committed to hit submit. And all of a sudden, you're brand new, and you don't know what to do, and the only person you know that really shared this with you and guided you at that moment in time is the person who enrolled you. When you enroll that person, like John was saying, that welcome call is critical. If it's not done right away, it's got to be done within the first 24 to 48 hours at the very, very most. And the thing is, you should be doing the getting started training with them as soon as they're signing up to be a promoter, but more important than that, you're going to take that new promoter, John, and say, John, I am so excited that you just decided to join our team and you decided to promote this, and your reason why is so compelling that I want to take just a minute and introduce you to our support team, which is our ambassadors and the leaders that are going to be having a direct impact on your success. You know, we're not successful unless you're successful, and we're all going to be reaching down to help you and support you. Let's just take a second. I'm going to introduce you to Kate. Kate's one of my best friends. She's my ambassador on my team. Her and I work together, and we're going to be able to go ahead and help you and support you. Hold on just one second. And you're doing that welcome call. And that's the exact same thing, you guys, that John was just talking about. And it's the same thing with making sure that they understand that they're welcome. And again, that's a 3-way phone call. How in the world is that new person ever going to feel comfortable reaching out and getting help from anybody on their team to do 3-way phone calls if they don't even know who they are and they're not welcomed and they're not indoctrinated into the system right away?
Yeah, absolutely. Becky, thank you so much for being on the call with us this morning. We've run out of time here, but you did an absolute amazing job, and I'm super excited about having you do future trainings with us on the One Team, One Dream Focus call. So thank you very much. Thank you, John. And you're welcome. Guys, just as one more quick reminder, there's another call on 3-way phone calls from August 18th of 2012. And you can see that on the One Team, One Dream page. It's VisalusOneTeamOneDream.com. It's a recordings page there, so go there and you can listen to that. This recording will be up this afternoon, so you'll be able to send this link out to those on your team who were not here this morning. So, guys, thank you so much for being on the call. We appreciate you. We value you. And as always, we pray God's richest blessings upon you, your family, and your business. This call is officially over.